I am Doomsvince, and this is day 62 of Spawn Year.
The way this book practically seems offended by the notion of moving forward at a reasonable pace, I shouldn't be too surprised that now Spawn intentionally stalling the progression is a plot point that eats up a good chunk of this issue. Last time, Tremor brought one of Twist's goons to Spawn with a list of names that Twist apparently has in his sights. Tremor hopes this will entice Spawn to help him in an all-out attack on Twist, but Spawn needs more evidence. Yep, Spawn, the impulsive hothead who tends to dismember first and ask questions later, obstinately insists on being absolutely positive there's something to this. He doesn't even yell, "Wanda!" or anything. Now, dear reader, I know what you're thinking. Isn't this a step in the right direction? Haven't I been looking for a cooler head from Spawn? That would be great if that's where this sudden overflow of caution came from. I'd have loved it if Spawn said, "Tremor, I understand Twist killed your whole family and I can relate, but in my experience, whenever you run off half-cocked, fueled only by rage, you tend to put the people you still care about in harm's way yourself." But that wise sage who is ready to write a book of psychology on what it means to be a real hero apparently died back in 42. He's not doing this because he's learned anything or because the last time he didn't check his facts before he aided another man in his personal revenge, an innocent man was killed. And thinking he had hurt the freak like Bulgy hurt him, Spawn didn't really mind that he was an accessory to murder. Despite that Tremor's backstory is actually a true parallel to his own, Spawn still dislikes him for no good reason. Could care less that Twist ruined his life, took everyone he cared about from him, and transformed him into an inhuman monstrosity. Spawn's jerking him around just because he can, and keep in mind, he seemed to kind of dislike Tremor this much the first time he met him. So Tremor finds another henchman with more information, just that Twist is watching Terry because he thinks he's still connected to Spawn, and finally Spawn agrees to help him, just tonight. Tremor starts losing his patience, and he sounds like me. I didn't think this was gonna turn into some G-deed ordeal. There isn't time for that. Oh, Tremor, you have no idea. I just read 2 issues without even realizing I was missing one in between. So little happened in it. We've got plenty of time. So Spawn half-heartedly goes with Tremor like it's an enormous chore, and when he confronts Twist, Spawn reminds him that he warned Twist to leave him alone, and that included his friends. Sounds to me like he had every reason to go through with this encounter, just with that initial list of names. Those 4 people on Twist's radar, with no other names between them? After Twist tried to have Terry murdered thinking it was Spawn, how would it not be related to him? It turns out Tremor's brother David really is alive, and he was taken in by the mob. Twist made him believe all these years that Tremor killed his brother Richard, and he doesn't realize he is Richard. The parallel between him and Spawn thickens. David is like Terry, working for the man who murdered Al and being set up to be Spawn's enemy, unaware of who he really is. It's really too bad Spawn isn't picking up on how kindred of spirits they are, because they really should be friends, or at least less uneasy of allies. I'm not expecting the buddy-buddy relationship from that silly action figure comic, but have a heart, Spawn. Shooting Tremor's brother while he's trying to prove to David who he really is and that Tony is lying to him, on the grounds that he only promised to protect Tremor from Twist and that David's a bad guy, and acting like it's not that big of a deal because you only crippled one leg? Sure, David's an idiot. Tremor mentioned several things only Richard would know, and he's still unwavering in his loyalty to Twist, who doesn't really have a reputation for loyalty himself. But Spawn, that's just cruel. A narration box describes Spawn as enigmatic, and that couldn't be more appropriate. I don't condone or understand anything he does this issue, but I guess I'm supposed to think he's going over the edge because his costume is being consumed by darkness, as Cog says, based on the fact that he's building up his part of the alley so that no sunlight can get in, and he doesn't realize how much control it has over him. It's a little odd that part of that darkness is thinking first before he acts. But as inconsistent as Spawn's behavior has been since the beginning, it really doesn't seem all that out of character. I'm appalled by his behavior, but I feel like I'm not as shocked as I should be. Besides that, all that's left is more posturing from Clown and more of McFarlane using space in the book to get his own bearings and remind himself what his villains' plans are and why they're planning them. Yes, Clown's working on the sidelines. Yes, he wants to prove to Bulgy that demons are more fit to lead than humans. We got that. How about we get on with, I don't know, bringing some of these plans to fruition? Some of what's here would be pretty engaging if it was clearer where Owl's feelings end and the costumes begin, and there's more dynamite splash pages from Capullo. I'm thinking about ripping a bunch of those out and making a collage. Maybe I'll write my own captions and see if I can make Spawn make more sense. Signed, Captain Logan.